Good morning, everyone. Well, here we are at Paul live at 9 on Monday, the 15th day of February 2021. I guess my main challenge this morning is I didn't think to set the clocks forward and so forth and so on. And so at this speaking, I am just now arriving at the current time of today. I thought that I woke up and thought I had plenty of time, but then my darling Debbie come and said, "Hey, I think we had some kind of time change." So I hope we find each other together this morning, and if not, I'll be on the YouTube channel. So and I'll be posted today anyway. So hello, it's good to be here. It's good to see you. So let's get centered as we do every morning, or at least every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning, with our breath exercises. We breathe in through our nose, hold, and out through the mouth. And so we begin in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Shireen. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. Continue. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. Hi, everybody. Open your eyes if you had them closed and wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes and get back into your body. Good morning, Mary Lee. Makes me want to sing, "Time is on my side." Yes, it is. So it's good to see everyone here this beautiful Monday morning. It's nice to know the time has changed, really, because now it'll be a little bit more light at the end of the day, which is a good thing for sure. And and I'm happy about that because there's some places I like to go in the evening, and the roads that we have here in coastal Virginia are not necessarily the best lit, and in some cases, not at all lit. And they're curvy and they're narrow and they're up and down, and we can't see around the corners. And my night driving is becoming a little challenged nowadays. So I'm happy for a little longer light. So today I want to talk about prosperity. And it begins like it all begins. The conversation is continuous, my beautiful friends. The conversation is continuous. And the conversation is that everything that I was conditioned and trained to perceive as so And I suggest that in your case, whomever you may be, that however you were trained and whatever situation and condition you were trained in from your birth to today, the training about this three-dimensional illusion has you in a misunderstanding of what is really going on. And so my training trains me to accept and acknowledge that this this whole three-dimensional reality, inside and outside, this tangible world that I see, is in fact all there is and or real. And this is what impacts everything that happens. But what I know is so is that what is real, what is genuinely real, is intangible. The presence of all that is, in its essence, is unable to see, we are unable to see, touch, smell, taste, feel, feel with our fingers it. So as a result, we believe that prosperity is something that we have to create for ourselves in this three-dimensional reality. When in fact, all that is prosperity. And what keeps us from enjoying it or embracing it is our idea that it's not present. And I realize if someone happens to be listening to this who has just recently embarked on a spiritually conscious path, the speaking of the last couple of minutes, or the idea that the tangible world, this three-dimensional material reality, is other than the creative aspect of prosperity in this world, is hard for a person to embrace. If this path has been a path of travel for someone, that speaking does not really set someone askew, if you will, or off the center. But the original idea, I remember the first time that I was in a situation where someone told me that if I could simply embrace the realization that there is a power, a source of energy beyond my intellect and beyond my emotions, that I would come to realize that all is well. The first time that was presented to me, I went into a flurry. And that flurry lasted a long time, years, years of resistance on my part, on Paul's part, on Reverend Paul's part, on Mystic Paul's part, in the past, in this lifetime. The resistance was phenomenal. I literally had to look at life from a different perspective to even begin to perceive how much abundance and how incredibly glorious the prosperity of my life is. And the switch that took place in me was the switch that allowed me to conceive that the accumulation of material existence, the accumulation of things, the accumulation of stuff, the accumulation of currency was not in itself prosperity or abundance. I had to find myself with all of the material possessions available that allowed to fulfill the criteria of success and abundance and prosperity, and find myself in that moment destitute and wishing really that I could simply cease to exist in this material plane to arrive at an understanding that prosperity is not connected specifically to this material plane. I had to realize that all that is, everything that exists, exists in a prosperous experience. Everything that exists, exists in an abundant reality. And that right here in this material plane, all that is available and all that is necessary is at my feet all the time. And really, the best tool that I was given to be able to embrace that reality was simply to understand that how I had been trained to perceive it over, in my case, over a course of 50 human years was not on point. And that this body and this mind and these emotions and this ego were not the definition source of an embrace of prosperity. I had to come to realize that prosperity came from realizing who I am essentially. And who I am essentially is the presence of all that is all the time, and all is well. And for any person who is struggling to just make ends meet in this three-dimensional world, or for anyone who is struggling to keep food on the table, or to make sure that their children have enough warm clothes, has a hard time embracing that. Yet, the beginning comes from simply owning that the way I perceive it is a matter of learned behavior, is a matter of training, is a matter of how I was conditioned to embrace this world in which I live. And so I promise you that the simple statement, all is well, will begin a shift that over time will come to a place where an abundance of consciousness and an abundance of all that is will manifest in one's life. And the 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 more full the basket of acknowledgement of all is well becomes, the more abundance manifests. And so a simple affirmation, affirmation of prosperity has great power. In the Holy Bible, in the Western Christian world's guidebook, in the Genesis chapters, which is at the beginning, God said to humankind at that time in that book, I created, God said, I created you in the image and likeness of me. And I bestow upon you dominion over this world you live in. When we realize that I have dominion over this world means I can shape it to my liking, a shift in how I was taught begins to take place. So the affirmation that I choose on a regular basis as it pertains to material prosperity goes like this. So just take these words in. If you can, simply not resist them. And I realize today I've said a bunch of things that sound like double negatives. But one of the great things about a double negative is it becomes a positive. And so do not resist, is my suggestion, as it goes to what I'm about to read and state now. Just let it flow over you like a very refreshing and cooling spring. Prosperity. Goddess is my unfailing, permanent, and perfect supply. I do not work for a living. I work for the glory of truth and the good of my fellow man. There is no lack, no limitation. Divine mind and its perfect ideas sustain me in all my ways. I live in abundance. I rejoice in plenty, and I am prosperous in all my ways. Goddess's money is mine to use for good, and I use it now with pleasure and wisdom. So it is. All is well. So it is. And so this is the truth of our reality. This is the truth of the whole of consciousness. And the perception of that truth is what will free us from the bondage of the concept of lack and not enough. I acknowledge you as the presence of God wherever you are. I embrace you as myself. We are taken care of. We have everything, and all is well. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.